He's one of Jamaica's bright young minds, receiving his PhD in economics at just 28 years old after winning the Commonwealth Scholarship to further his studies in the UK. Dr. Andre Haughton now lectures at the University of the West Indies, Mona, and also contributes regularly to the Gleaner newspaper, weighing in on issues of national importance such as the economy and the island's debt. And he has quite a few ideas about how Jamaica can manage its debt burden. Now, some might say some of his ideas are naive, unorthodox, or even unrealistic, but with a debt of 2 trillion Jamaican dollars eating up nearly 60% of the budget every year, looking outside the box may be just what the government needs to do.
A small country like Jamaica, we've borrowed a lot. We've borrowed so much that now we've found ourselves in problems year after year after year, trying to figure out how to repay our debt. For us now, there are a lot of options. The first option is to stop borrowing because we cannot repay these monies sustainably over time. Realistically speaking, like Guyana and Haiti, we need some amount of foreign debt relief. We need some amount of foreign debt relief because we find ourselves in a position now where we have been borrowing and borrowing and borrowing and borrowing. However, we have been delaying some of our debt payments. We have been borrowing to repay debt, so we're still in debt. And it's putting the country in a deeper hole.
So you keep talking about debt relief, but on what grounds would Jamaica qualify for debt relief? I mean, Haiti had a massive earthquake, they had cholera, and they're the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere. So you could understand why creditors would be sympathetic towards Haiti. But why would creditors be sympathetic towards Jamaica and write off some of our debt?
In terms of the legal ramifications, then we'll have to get some lawyers to try and put some arguments together on our behalf. But Guyana's debt to GDP ratio in 2007 was 180%. And they received debt write-offs from one of their major creditors, which was the IDB. And I think the IDB wrote off approximately 500 million, which is a $500 million. Now, Jamaica wants an IMF deal to get 1.2 billion. On the books, we owe approximately 8 billion in foreign currency to people abroad, including IDB, IMF, and so on. If they were supposed to write off a quarter of this 8 billion, that would be $2 billion, which would be 800 million greater than what they want to get from the IMF now. So if we can get that 2 billion, then the country would be in a better position to restructure for growth. The economy hasn't been operating efficiently since we started borrowing. A lot of the monies that we borrowed, so we wanted to do X, we haven't been seeing X. A lot of the monies that the country borrowed, for example, to build roads back in the day, to build schools, to build factories and other infrastructure, these have all been substandard. And we haven't been seeing a continuous improvement on the infrastructure, which means that a lot of these monies that we've borrowed, the debt, haven't been spent wisely. And if we can classify this as odious, I don't know, but it haven't been spent wisely.
You mentioned the word odious, and I saw that you wrote an article about odious debt. What's that? What's odious debt?
If a country borrows and the money wasn't spent to benefit the general population, meaning the citizens of the country, then the debt can be classified as odious. No matter how it is spent, as long as we haven't seen the evidence of this money, because we know we're 1.7 trillion, which means that we've been borrowing since Wapikil fill up, And if we haven't been seeing these money being spent in the economy, we haven't been seeing the infrastructure that should match up to what we've borrowed, then the debt may be classified as odious. Also, if international creditors know that a particular country has a history of mismanaging monies that they borrow, so if they know this over time and they continue to lend to this country, then under law, this can be classified also as illegitimate.
Haughton is convinced that getting the multilateral creditors, such as the IMF and the IDB, to write off some of Jamaica's debt is the only way to go. While others have championed debt restructuring, such as 2010's Jamaica Debt Exchange, JDX, and perhaps even another JDX, Haughton says this doesn't make sense in the long run.
We don't want any debt restructuring, because debt restructuring is this. If you restructure debt, it means that you are delaying the debt. What happens is this: they cut the interest rates, say for example by a couple of percentage points, but extend the maturity period of the loan. So you end up paying more years, and you still end up paying maybe the same amount that you would with the higher interest rate for less years, or even more because it's more years. You know, 12% for paying 12% for 1 year is better than paying 10% for 2 years. You know, because if you borrow $100 and you're paying 12% on that 100 for 1 year, it means that you're paying $12. If you borrow 100 and you're paying 10% for 2 years, it means that you're paying interest of 20%. So this stretching out of the maturity period and cutting interest rates by 1 percentage or 2 percentage points is really putting the country at a disadvantage in the long run.
What would happen if Jamaica decides to just says, you know what, we don't have the money, we can't pay, so we're not going to pay, we default? What would happen?
It is going to have a negative impact on any venture to seek foreign investment here. It's going to send a big negative on the country's sustainability and economic viability, meaning how economic sound we are. That's the word default, you know, just hearing it alone is going to throw off people. However, Ecuador defaulted in 2008, you know, and they are gradually on their way to recovery. Argentina defaulted in 2001, and now they're in problems because America wants the money back that they lent them in the first place, and some money that they borrowed from, I think, some other countries in the eastern part of the world. Saying the word default and Jamaica jumping up and saying that we're defaulting is going to be bad, but I guess we're already in a bad situation.
What do you think about the IMF's role now? Because as you know, the government is in negotiations with the fund to get a new deal with them.
I don't think the deal is the best thing for the country now. The deal will open up avenues. However, our problem is bigger than foreign exchange room that IMF will allow us. Our problem really lies in our ability to earn foreign currency. You know, IMF is going to provide this room for us, yes, if we get the deal. So next 2 years, when we find ourselves in balance of payment problems, we have to go back to the IMF because Jamaica is a country of consumers, so we want to purchase Mercedes and we want to purchase BMWs. I want to purchase my Ballet and my Clarks, and those aren't manufactured in Jamaica, so I need US to purchase these. When what IMF has provided us is gone, we'll have to go back to IMF. So every 2 years we go back to IMF. IMF, we have balance of payment problems. We need balance of payment support. Can you help us please? Lend us 1.2 billion US every 2 years. That's not sustainable. The economy needs something that can sustainably generate foreign currency. We need sustainable industries. You know, for example, we need to find out ways how we can benefit from our music more. We need to find out ways how we can import people with their foreign currency to spend it here with the local citizens, so the money multiplier stretches around everybody and the country will be better. A lot of the policies that we have now really does not encourage earning foreign currency for the country. A lot of the policies that we have now are very stiff. It's where Barcelona now are seeking independence from Spain. They have decriminalized and legalized marijuana. So people who cannot go to Holland, because Holland now are looking at ways to prevent tourists from coming to Holland and smoking. And Amsterdam was a major smoking hub in Europe. Now Holland has realized that a lot of people are just coming there to smoke. They don't want that anymore. They want the smoking for their citizens. So what they propose is that they are going to stop foreigners coming to Holland to smoke. Barcelona is capitalizing on this. Barcelona last year opened, I think, 11 marijuana cafes just for recreational purposes.
Wait, hold on. So are you proposing that Jamaica legalize marijuana and make that into a type of international industry that earns foreign exchange?
Yeah, we can use that. That's just one avenue in terms of goods and services, because we have to look at what we have comparative advantage in. And comparative advantage means that we can produce this at a lower opportunity cost than other countries. And we are. It's a name brand. So the marijuana, the music, these are things that people know Jamaica for, they're running. So we need our own Diamond League, for example, and these things. And these will encourage people to come here. People love Jamaica, because of the name brand of Jamaica. People think Jamaicans are cool.
And Haughton isn't the first to suggest that. Member of Parliament Raymond Price recently called for a debate in the Parliament on legalizing marijuana. But whether the government, the churches, and the wider public would accept that as a viable solution to the island's economic troubles would remain to be seen. However, when it comes to music, dance, and other creative industries, Jamaica does indeed have the human talent, but somehow hasn't been able to convert that into cash over the years. According to former Prime Minister P.J. Patterson, the creative industries are worth an estimated $16 billion and are among the fastest growing industries worldwide. So between Bob Marley, Usain Bolt, and Jamaica's global cool factor, where's the money? Well, that's a discussion for another day.